quite a bit of pretension going on, where someone wants to pretend that they're in my flat. Let me just take a view. That terrorist does something. Apparently, they share videos of me in this flat with other people. So if you hear stuff in my background, there's no one else in this flat. This is just me struggling with my bills alone at the moment. I'm the one who's responsible for my flat. But this terrorist has been defaming me, saying that he's helping me with things. All he does is threats, aggression, things like that. I've never heard any construction work happening next door. Never, ever. Never, ever. But because today I started. This guy, I first saw him in construction clothes at my former family's other house in Rose Lane, Chadwell Heath. He approached there in the Bob the Builder's outfit. Let's not talk about him right now. He didn't do anything. Just left my family a bit curious, my former family curious as to why the hell did you make the appointment and came and did nothing. However, apparently it seems that was the start of a very confusing relationship, which I am really trying to distance myself from. So back to the part where I get attacked because of the name change bit. I eventually was just trying to get my phone because I've never seen my birth mother so violent. I wanted to film her. I needed the evidence too. I wasn't sure why, but since she broke one card, I was like, nope, we gotta film this. We gotta film the rage. I've got to remember this. The whole time she was able to grab my phone, put it in my pocket, throw it aside. But what I wasn't going to do was beat her up. Because culturally, it's not a very good thing. I can't explain it. But yeah, I decided not to beat up. All I could do was push away, pull away, try to get my phone. At some point, she and her husband had tagged him on me. I had to push him down. This guy, sorry, I know you might not think it's respectful, but like I said, they were treating me like a second wife. They had disowned me. I was recovering from something in hospital, right? But he's a huge man. Once they started trying to pull me here, left, right, and center, I thought, no, I was not even dressed well. I pushed him. I just pushed him to make him sit down, just to try and come out of the situation. And I was not trying to get my phone. And they were passing it on to each other. Someone called me. It was a business number. I shouted, call the police, please. Because by then, most of my business dealings, they had the address where I was. So I asked them, call the police, please. I'm in trouble. Tell them to come to this address. I still had to say the address. It turns out they didn't really call the police. But my birth father did. And then I think because they were surprised by my strength, because I kept on pushing them, I didn't eat. I was so tired. You'd be surprised what happens when you're cornered. So I had to fight my way through just to keep on releasing myself from them, protecting those cards, just trying to make sure that I was not at fault in that situation. By the time the police came, Ephraim called the police, my birth father, come with my birth mother. She was screaming and kicking off. I was tired. By the time he had called the police, he said something to them, obviously. By the time they came upstairs. You know how they do, they shout, police. I was so tired. I was like, oh. I took a breath, kind of relieved. Do you know what happened? She flipped me over. I landed on top of her. My leg wasn't over her. She had my phone on the other side and she was screaming, help, help. Then I was tired. I was just looking at her like, huh? Oh, I skipped the part where they started pretending to exorcise me. In the name of Jesus. Ah! I looked at them and thought, what? You who's been boasting of so much witchcraft. I laughed. I was like, in the name of who? You. So they started doing it even more. Because that's how pretentious people do. Religious spirits. Start acting as if you're possessed. Do you know, I still tried to free myself. So by the time, unfortunately, when the police came, my leg was on top. And they're like, okay, young lady, if you can get up, get off. I was so tired, they had to help me get up. And then I sat down by the wall. And goodness, they'd already spun the story. I also tried to explain my part. They're going to leave me in there. But I thought about it and I thought, darn, these two just tried to kill me. I said, okay. Can you remove me for my safety, please? But it turned into arrest. Said, you're under arrest. Blah, 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 blah. I complied. I walked out. They searched me. I had given back the cards by then and explained that she broke one of them. I had to keep them all on me. So, because there's no way I was going to be blamed for those cards. And he kept on repeating, you're right, what you've done is fraudulent. I said, no. She broke it. I had to keep the other ones on me. I had to take them off her so that she doesn't break the other ones. There's no way. So anyway, it's very difficult when you find out that your family is in with a criminal. I found the number, Subia's number on their desk. Before that, I had found his post in my post. And the way they were intimidating me, I jumped back on the bus. As scary as that was for me, I jumped back on the bus, brought it back, and then went back to the family home. So I was checking in on my property quite often without them after a while because I realized, okay, they were refusing to take my keys for so long. I would say, please, just go and check in on the property. So you can see there's still work to be done here. There's still work to be done. Oh, maybe it's not very visible. There you go. So the latest leak had been over here. Construction people have come to seal it off from the third floor. This is something the terrorist has now been found out to have been part of, playing drums on the building. But we can't really say that to the building people. Just say it was an act of God, because there were storms. This guy can take advantage of any situation. But when they showed me initially the hole that proceeds from the third floor, it's very confusing. I don't know what they would have documented, but if they had been open with me at the time, maybe I could have been open with them. But oh well. I don't know. Because right now, we're facing this situation where our service charges are going to increase. Everything's going to increase because they're fixing things again. Fire doors, whatnot. These guys swinging around the doors, banging them. They started again yesterday. When you're chilling and you're resisting what they're doing, their attacks, their defamation, ignoring their conversations, trying to stay out of it. This guy gets so confused. He thinks it's part of my life now, just because of what he's been getting away with. I don't tolerate it. I can sit still, brace myself, control myself, and ignore him while I'm trying to get things done. And you can hear him starting to call people, present his case as if he's innocent, telling people that, well, you can see she's not moving, because he wants me to be jumping up and down, bobbing up and down, going to bang his walls to intimidate him so that he gets the idea that it's not okay. I think this is an indication to the police that this guy needs force to be controlled, because he can't observe boundaries, normal boundaries, on his own. He can't respect another human being's life on his own. They think they can bully me out of this property. A guy who actually has 2 jobs, he can't save his own money to invest in another property somewhere. Never mind the whole agenda of why he first moved in next door. No. People should no longer extend leniency to this guy, because he can only understand the language of force, because that's what he does. He can be so intimidating. Me, I've decided, no, this is not 2024. We're not doing that. He joined in with the former family to try and do this mental health check thing. It actually doesn't seem like mental health. It's more of like a learning disability approach. People who are so vulnerable, you can struggle to assess their capacity to make decisions and so on. But the Human Act actually talks about how an adult with capacity has the right to make decisions and even make mistakes on their own. So what my family has been doing is defaming me, joined in with this guy's rhetoric. It's like they're set together somewhere. He can actually summon Gamu to turn up on my patio. Well, he used to, until recently when I told them, do you know what? I'm not having none of your nonsense. I know they turned up here, my Bath family, on this patio. And I told them, no. I'm not going to have this pretense. I'm not going to have this pretense where you just come and you pretend you're doing something for me while you're covering up, because I know where to go with you. You can't afford to do the things that I used to do for myself. I used to fly. I used to drive myself, go on holidays when I can, treat myself. Even locally in the UK, I'll just disappear for a bit and they wouldn't know where I am. So now she wants to micromanage me. That same mental health team eventually disclosed that it's about your finances and your flat. And I told them, okay, I signed up to benefits. We're waiting for the progression to see how it goes. Had I not done that, these people would have tried to ambush me again, keep on sending independent teams against me. Do you know I was harassed off this property because the family was preparing such a thing to just keep me shut out, closed out, not meeting other people. They'd rather I don't have friends. The night we fled their property with the person I was accommodating, they called the police to say, we don't know her friend. The year before that, I was with my partner. We were just moving in together. Kamu suddenly turned up with 2 other women here, knocking at this very window. We're in here with my partner. We could have been undressed. Goodness gracious, the disrespect. Trying to micromanage an adult, a whole adult, independent adult. Mind you, I did have my money. But she's decided to play Madam Teresa, to be putting money into my account and then just calling, I've put rent money for you. If it was a normal situation, I would understand, but there are very, very complicated situations behind the scenes, which I've now started to realize that maybe she was already on, she was on a warpath with me. I didn't realize that she's playing the cards to show off a caring mother In the meantime, her heart is saying other things, but she's presenting herself as someone who's taking responsibility for something that she doesn't have to. Because homelessness can easily happen if your relationships break down. That was a big telltale sign for me that she is actively pursuing breaking down my relationship and any relationships to bring me back home to her house to do what? To call me a second wife. Seriously, do you know what? If it wasn't for the intimidation I was facing here when that partner eventually left, would just sneak around here and there when I was at their house. It was a very difficult situation to cope with. I did things I never thought I would ever do. Ah, growing pains. Only for him to eventually tell me, no, we're only friends, there's nothing. In front of them. Ah, goodness gracious, the daggers. Somehow we remained friends until this year. He had come back after a few other commitments I had tried to make with other people, and then decided, no, let's break this off. And he decided, okay, I think I'm going to marry you or something. I said, oh, okay. Um, you know, he didn't come back after that. Lately, I've been saying, please, could I have the studio? It hasn't come back. Okay, do you want to come and pick up your stuff, please? He's not coming back. And he did say on one of the visits before he decided that he was thinking about marriage to me again. He did say on one of those visits, you know, when we're not together, did you think I'd be single forever? I thought, okay, no problem. We can still be friends, no problem. But we just won't be doing what we used to do when I thought we were in a relationship, you know? Anyway, so he decided what he decided. And I said to him, do you know what? I'm still open to being friends with you no matter what. I do know that my family could get to you. But it wouldn't be good. So let's try and just be friends. So maybe he started distancing himself. About it. I haven't seen him for weeks. I've just been trying to ask him, could you help me out? Report some transactions for the trip we were supposed to be doing. So that I can get some money because my account was almost closed. And I'm trying to retrieve it to just get the refunds so that I can cover that overdraft. My account was so reliable. My credit rating is now very, very badly affected. It's terrible. Can't even get a response. Well, I got deleted messages yesterday. Or the day before. So just waiting. Send me messages. Did you just hear that? That terrorist just said problem. He might have deleted those messages. Imagine. Because my messages, even Google has been sending me critical alerts to say your emails have been deleted, especially the ones with police references. This guy is very busy trying to destroy my life, deleting transactions off my bank accounts. Fortunately, banks do have a way of getting around certain situations. You have to go and describe how you're being hacked, give them police references, and then they decide, okay, we're going to post to your bank statements. What does this guy do? Anytime I'm going out, going to town or anything, he was breaking into my apartment. He stole bank statements from another bank, the one that was paying rent. Me, I'm trying to reconcile situations with the arrears that finally came through. This guy stolen my documentation. Last year, he had stolen my land registry certificate. This year, he stole my tenancy agreement. Fortunately, I have another copy. You know, when you own property, you have to try and be organized. So I had filed my stuff the way I had and tried. More recently, I found my sportswear kit. They'd taken the green top. I'm not sure what else has been taken from my suitcase. Left a piece of chewing gum there. You know, this dandy bubblegum banana flavor. Left a piece there. You can hear it, yeah? You can see it in the comments. I can see the comments. Yeah, it's a good thing you can actually hear the person now talking as if they're in here. Why are they intruding so much in my life? Can you imagine? Anyway, he has been confessing and hacks other people's conversations who know initially why he came into that flat, squatters, intimidating the homeowner so that he never comes there. So it's so guilty, but he'll be talking about things, trying to prove that he's doing something to me and I'm not reacting. Last year they did this whole persecution bout thing around Easter. They turned it into like a religious war, only for him to turn around this year and say, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a radicalist. The trouble, the wahala I went through with the family that was trying to move in next door, with all the defamation. He was sharing my documents, my secret writings, my prayer notes. And then they started calling me Jesus. I said, no, I'm not Jesus. There's never a time I'll ever claim to be Jesus. I'm not a savior. You don't have to be trying to call a whole holy war on me. I grew up with Muslims. I can be respectful of any faith. I was a community builder, for crying out loud. I stood with some of my friends, no matter what faith they were, what background they were. I would share my CV on here if I had to, but goodness gracious, this guy is trying to turn anyone and everyone into me instead. So Pierre, such a terrible situation. The fortunate thing is that I'm safe if I can express or remind people who are trying to come towards me that, remember, this guy is not a Muslim, he's a radicalist. Because people can easily be influenced. The unfortunate part is that he's hacked me so much. He got into the heads of people I used to worship with as Christians. They could easily be arrested for things, for taking the blame for him. Just like my birth family. They could easily try and shut me up. Like what was done on the 8th of August. I don't know how they did it, but they tried to override the community team that had initially discharged me. But after removing me for my own safety, which turned out into an arrest, they decided to, my birth family started calling the mental health team even more to reopen that case again. You know, the place, I think I've said in one of the videos, the place where we went to when they tried to take me to say, oh, we're going to see my friend. We almost had a car accident on the way. They were bickering until Ephraim almost lost control of the car. And then I had to take control. I was like, no, I think I know where you want to go. The address is 137 Church Road. It's down here. So we went. And then when we got there, she jumps out of the car, of course. She dashes in, goes in to say something. So by the time the man was coming out to see us, asked me if I was open for family counseling. I said, no. I'm not part of their relationship. If they're having trouble, they need to make an appointment with you on their own. I am not involved. I don't know what she would have said. Because me, I'm not a second wife. I'd only gone there pretending I need to use your machine. Because it's winter, my flat was, actually that last year was not a pretense. My flat was flooding through. But the year before, yes, I had to go back there again. In winter, it can be a bit difficult to keep on washing your hands. But that's why I stayed there a bit longer, overstayed my welcome there because of the intimidation that was going on here. And the intimidation that would happen even on public transport on my way anywhere. Life can be difficult if you give in to fear. So once I started standing up for myself, my family became very violent. It's a good thing I found someone stranded on the street, assessed the whole situation they went through, and then offered them, okay, I've got a room next to mine. You want to stay? And then they paid for the room and were thinking, okay, maybe I can stay another night. After paying for that, then Gamu comes up and starts making a scene. I said, okay, since he's calm now, let's try and get some food. Up come the police. They're like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. I said, no, this is totally a legal procedure. You can actually lodge out a room. I am a homeowner. I know what's happening. And then they were like, oh, the key information I forgot then was that the homeowner themselves, the named homeowner, was not there. Anyway, a few days later, the named homeowner turned up at my property now and gave me access to those 2 rooms to rent. I haven't retracted that access yet, even though I may not want it. But I have documented it on an injunction. It might work out in my favor. So I'm waiting to get that injunction processed. I think actually, if I took that information off, their property is going to be at risk even worse. Because there's key situations around them that I think they underestimate. One person we used to live with who has been disclosed, Helen, has been one of Zubia's girlfriends or sexual partners. Kamu herself has joined that. They've always been fighting. Helen apparently got married to a distant relative. I thought she was an actual relative, but she isn't. But even when we lived together, they were always fighting until her mother passed away. And then she pretended to be looking for the comfort of her mother. But she always used to laugh at our relationship. So insincere, unempathetic. But the thing is, she wants property. She also attacked my ex-husband and I's relationship. Just as we met up for my birthday to discuss property and a holiday. The things you go through life. Anyway, moving on. I'm still going to build my family. There's no way I'm staying in this situation. Eventually had to accommodate the doctor who started sending the community mental health teams. And then she came and disclosed that the worry and concerns is about your finances. I said, oh, okay. I am applying for jobs. I'm on benefits. That's all I could do. I'm obviously looking at other opportunities too, but in certain moments you can't just rely on, oh, my business is going to pick up, or I'm going to do this and that. I cannot disregard the contribution of hackers who are terrorists. I don't know how many people they might be training. I cannot disregard their efforts and just rely on a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale when you know you're in your season, walking towards marriage. But the thing about being someone who can access heaven's secrets is that you also know that humans are vulnerable to rejecting heaven. Humans can easily be enticed. Humans can easily reject the best possible plan. Because sometimes when heaven tells you something, it doesn't always make sense. What example can I give? I'm sure there are plenty on the internet, in the Bible and so on. Never mind. Oh dear. I just thought of colonial times, how some leaders were tricked to their land being stolen. So I can't play with my destiny. I can't play with my destiny at all. I'm embracing all sides of my destiny now, of my heritage. I did as much as I could to make sure I didn't lose any of my blessings. As a first grandchild, as a firstborn child, as just Caroline Carush, I did as much as I could, but the hackers started distributing my information and made sure people can hear even my prayers and the way God answers me, so that they start preparing people to fight me left, right, and center before I can express it or find out, fine-tune, find out what God is actually saying to me. So they go overboard with their attacks of defamation. Apparently he's also using witchcraft. It's not just his crime partner. You know, I think even though I was not ready to step back onto the stage as a minister, I've been forced to disclose it sometimes, who I am. But I didn't want to have a conflicting situation while on my journey to retrieving as much of my destiny as I can. My family will only compliment me in my absence, but through these hackers, they've revealed a lot. That they were always fighting me even from my childhood. Having known that there was a witch assigned against my destiny, against my life. Really close. She eventually did top herself during that COVID time. And of course you just go back and you play the part. Because I didn't do it. But I things took her. So Kamu then took a much more active part. The other times it was just silent knowledge on the other people's. Actually, I can't even say silent because time will tell. The more that their conversations are put on loudspeaker by this person they've befriended. He's not anyone's friend. This guy, the last time I saw my sister, oh my goodness, I cried. What a sorrowful state. I cried. And he was laughing. He saw her and he was laughing at the way she looked. It was heartbreaking. But you know, no matter how empathetic I feel for them, I still need an injunction to keep myself at a safe distance so that I can progress. So that I can have my own team, my own husband, my own child. Just keep it moving because dang. Their mentalities are totally on a different wavelength. Totally on a different wavelength. Where they've read everything that God promised us. That once I got married, He would settle everybody else. Oh my days, I don't know how they understood that. I don't know how you can read that and think, nope, it's going to be us first. Things are falling apart. They were getting sued left, right, and center for that property where they met Subir. Then one day I just say, no, you know what, just sell it. Unfortunately for me, it silenced the storm for them. And then they even increase their warfare against me even more. Continually turning up on my patio, offering me, I don't know. I think actually it's just trying to defend themselves for their part with criminals, for their part with, I'm tired of talking about this, their cover-ups for whatever. They'll deny so many obvious things, unfortunately. The last time I had to ask, are we going to keep lying or are we going to tell each other the truth? I was being offered to travel with Ephraim. And I'm thinking, you were treating me like a second wife. You want me to go on a journey with you. I've never traveled with them. How? Last year they offered me around the same time, September. Well, now we're in October. Last year they offered me to go away. I said, oh, okay. Hung up the phone, didn't hear anything until they come back. That's when I went there. I'm thinking, if I go with them, I actually said, if I go with you this time, are you going to tell me the truth? Denied the existence of my ex-husband. And yet, right here, Subir will have hacked me, hacked that guy, exposes everything. Even the affiliation, the time spent together, exposes everything. He didn't say anything. He just took a moment, kept quiet, and then he started asking, who's that? I said, no, it's okay. It's okay. Let me work hard, save my money. When it's time, I will go to Zim. Let me work hard, save time. Yeah, granted, some people may think I should just jump on the opportunity. Why should I travel with someone who will easily lie to the police, who will easily call the mental health team and try to trigger me into becoming violent? Anytime I'm with them, they'll try to just twist it because they don't have the capacity to accommodate the skills that I have. They don't have the capacity to nurture what's within me to make money. They'd rather close up the potential, any potential that I have. I remember once being asked, would you like to play football? And that time I was going through so much intimidation. I thought, no, this is not the time. You know what I discovered when I went to the mental health institute? Actually, my legs are quite good, but I would only consider being a penalty shooter for a bit because I'm not fully trained. Lately, in order to manage myself, I've been playing sport and things, but I can't always do that. I can't always be jumping up and down to manage a whole attack from a terrorist. When I had a car, it was a little bit better. It was messing up with my internet and everything, but at least I could drive somewhere, go and manage myself. Doesn't, because it was tampering with my car. Never mind what I found out about the car anyway. He had already started tampering with my car when I parked it in the community area right next to the block of flats. Oh, I had to park it there for a while. Then when I came back, incurred a ticket in that parking area. Still, you come back, they reveal the things, they confess. I did this, that, I did this, I did that. Eventually, once we got the ticket paid off, and on that day, had tried to intimidate a man who came to just hotspot me. Came in here, sat down, just hotspotted me to pay for the transaction. Because the guy was not intimidated, he managed to sit through the whole situation. This guy's deleted his number off my phone. I still haven't heard from the person. Just delete the number off my phone. There's another number that was deleted. I recently just found the number. And after deleting the transaction, paid for the ticket, and deleting that person's number, contact the company to try and trigger them. These people actually reached out and were now trying to make me pay for that ticket again. It just worked out that the card wasn't working, so they couldn't take the payment. They actually tried to take the payment. Having disclosed to them that, no, remember, when I communicated with you guys, I had to email you a picture of the ticket so that I can pay for it later, in case I dropped it or something, because I was having internet issues. I was constantly in touch with that company. They do electric cars. If it had worked out well, I could be saying they're a good company, but goodness gracious, the headache. It would have been convenient at the time. But apparently even their car was faulty before. It just got worse with this guy hacking it. Goodness gracious. Have mercy, honestly. How can a whole company start to act up? Okay, maybe it's individuals who got in with the hackers too. I don't know what you're being paid. Honestly, if you're at your job, you just do your job. You don't know what someone else is going through. Why should you start adding on to their pain? Like, just do good. You never know. Why should you try to offend me, trigger me to get angry and so on? I decided, no, I'm not even going to get angry. I just wrote to them, nice. Guys, why are you doing this? There's no need for this. I already paid for this. Sometimes they don't respond. Sometimes they'll respond and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. They write their English. And it's terrible. Right now, I could be posting pictures of their car, modeling it, saying, please, hire this car. But even the AA know about their situation. Last year, in 2024, I had tried to hire the same car. These guys, I don't know what they were saying to them. But this year, I had managed. It was turning out okay until the car started breaking down. I didn't mind. I didn't have issues with, okay, it's breaking down. You can fix it remotely. Thank goodness. Let's carry on. I would never have complained about it. I would just carry on. But when you then follow someone because they're not complaining about the situation, because you know that their cars, they can hire out 40 cars, and then they come after you again. What are you doing? What you doing? I've lately been offered, it used to be suggested that maybe you could do some modeling, because I've trimmed up quite a lot, and I have potential to trim up even more. People, if you see someone has lost quite a bit of weight, it's not always trauma. Have a conversation, but don't defame. I've talked about the car accident. I've talked about a big major surgery. So when you hear, even if you hear that my former family said this and that, that's where we are. Those people will throw me under the bus any given time because they disowned me already. Unfortunately, they fell into the hands of the terrorist. This guy is not a good person at all. So pretentious. Even confesses, oh, I forgot I've been pretending. Oh, I forgot this girl never volunteered. I'm tired of talking about this. Especially the part where he actually proposes. I'm disgusted by that. Okay. Let me leave. Oh, if any of this information you find, take courage. Report this terrorist to the police. You can even do it via anonymous Crime Stoppers. If you want to make some money, read their website. There are rewards for reporting terrorists. If you go onto Metropolitan Police website, there is actually a section where you can report crime, terrorism. Because this guy even laughs about how he blew up Indian Airways. Had he not interfered with my video, that I was just taking a video of DIY here, I'm still in progress, I would not have spoken about him. But this guy wants to be made famous. Please report him to the police. Me, I'm tired of this guy defaming me and expressing to people. He will call people to express that, oh, look, she's not moving. I'm doing this to her right now. Let the police come and intervene. Take him and question him. What were you doing? Why do you think it's okay? Someone who has not consented to something. When someone does not consent to something, it means you are forcing yourself on them. He's done it to his child before. Beaten him until he wanted to sexually assault him. Apparently, you can simulate the same thing with technology. He knows what it is. He confesses. He calls people to justify his behavior. Can you imagine? How can you actually apologize to someone by saying, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else's child. Speaking to your own child. This is the same sort of mindset that my own former family, I'm still trying to say former. Let me make that clear. Because there is no way these people can represent me here from my flat and even at that other family home. There is no way. Not in any country, not in any place. After treating me like that, no. If anyone, in whatever profession or capacity, starts to claim or believe their lies, or even false concerns, no, you need to question your mind. If you were being treated like this for years, and then you start to find out, and you stand up against it, can you take it? Don't tell me about, oh, I would kill myself. Me, I'm not that sort of person. If you're in your right senses, I'm not even going to be understanding of people who say I'm going to kill myself. That's not my destiny. That's not my pathway. If that's yours, that's a different ballgame. Seek help. Not here. I'm just telling my truths here. So, I used to be paid to be caring. Right now, I'm looking out for myself. When I was doing all that, before that, I was volunteering as someone doing things in the community. But along the way, I started getting paid for doing certain things, for charity, for doing certain things professionally, for small organizations, big organizations, here, there, everywhere. So when you have money, it's easier to advocate for other people. When you have money, it's easier to be building the community on the side. Like I said, I do have my CV. I have potential of doing other things, many things. Some things I don't enjoy as much, like this DIY stuff. It's just turning out. I've done it before. See, this is the whole job. This is the after. You learn, you live and learn. I've had to start learning this. I don't like it. But I did it. Had to fix this. Had to actually do some tiling. I don't really like the finished product, but it works. Having to do it on your own. Fine, there are people who are paid to come and do it. But goodness gracious, winter is almost here. Living in a space that looks like this. Imagine those walls would still be looking like that. Huh. You can easily ignore it if you're accommodated here, because the rest of the space is pretty cool. But I can't really take looking at walls like this. It takes a different mentality, desperation, to be able to manage. I've already done it. I've already done the time. Now I'm in a different space. It has to look better. So it's very difficult holding back, not doing anything while you wait for processes to happen. It's very difficult. I'm holding off this part because I think inside here they need to do something. There's nothing I can do about metal. I even tried to put like locks here. I can't do it. The door is too strong. So I have to wait for the construction workers who've been assigned to do it. It's very difficult. Trying to develop the property so that, you know, it can be multifaceted to bring in more income. If and should I get to move, yeah, I'll turn this place into something else. But as long as I'm here, I still have to try and make it palatable, habitable, in a way that I can handle it. Oh my goodness gracious. Life has its turns. Living next door to a terrorist and his witch. These guys with their fake relationship. Let me come off this. Anyway, take whatever you can. You can report to the authorities because, goodness, might as well make money.